Welcome back to Simright Fashion Academy YouTube channel for another interesting tutorial. In this tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to sew this beautiful palazzo circular pants, as you can see right there. Okay, so I'll be sharing with you the tips and tricks to making this circular pants the way it is right here. So right here you can see what I got right here. I have my zipper at the back. I'll also share with you the tips to making the zipper at the side if you want. So I'll also teach you how to make this beautiful top, as you can see right here. It's actually a turtled gathered neckline, so I'll share it with you later. So here I'm making use of 3.5 yards. Okay, so your fabric is 3.5 yards. That is what you need to achieve the length of this pant. So this 3.5 yards, as you can see right here, I'm going to put the two ends together. So if you put the two ends together, automatically you have a length of 63 inches. And I'm using crepe fabric, and crepe comes at 60 inches as well. So that will give you your perfect full length for this circular trouser. So here is the open end and here is the folded end. So I'll just pick it up from the open end and match it up to the folded part to form a triangle. Okay, so you can see how I formed the triangle. I picked it from the open end and match it to the folded end. So this is what you have when you match it up that way. So that is the folded part and this is the open end on top of it. So now I secured with my pin because this fabric is actually wobbling. So the first thing we are going to do now is to start marking out our crouch space. Okay, the space for our crouch, I'm using 3.5 inches. So you can see how I'm marking it right there. So at that edge we are going to mark 3.5. So I'll keep marking the 3.5 until I get to the end of this fabric. So that is my crouch extension. So I'm going to highlight that crouch extension. I'll make the line visible. So I'm going to extend the crouch extension of 3.5 inches all the way from that point to the end. So that will serve as your crouch extension. So the next thing we are going to do is to identify the waistline. After the crouch extension, we are going to identify our waistline. So I'm going to place my tape. I'm going to place my tape at the tip of that triangle. I'll keep locating my waist divided by 4. So my waist circumference divided by 4, I'm working with 36, which is 9 inches. So I'm going to add 1 more inch to that, my waist circumference divided by 4. Okay, so here I'm marking 10 inches. So just add 1 more inch for your seam allowance. So I'm going to mark out that line at which I got my waist circumference divided by 4 plus 1 inch. So that will serve as my waistline. So from that waistline, I'm going to start marking my crouch extension. So I have a band of 1.5 inches. So I'm going to place 1.5 inches above the waistline and I'm going to mark my crouch line. Okay, so my crouch length, I'm using my waist circumference, my waist divided by 4. So my waist divided by 4 is 12 inches, but because this is a free trouser, I'll add 2.5 inches, 2.5 inches to it. Okay, so there I'm using 14.5. My hip is 48. I divided it by 4. I have 12 inches and added 2.5. That's how I got my crouch extension. So I'm going to curve in that crouch extension, as you can see. So after marking out the crouch extension, the next thing you are going to do is to take the length of this pant. So if you really want to wear a heel with this, you are going to make this length very, very long. So I'm going to place my 1.5 inch on the waistline, which is the band width, and I'm going to measure 46 inches. So I'm using 46 inches for this pants. Okay, so it flows very well, and if you are wearing a heel, it will also flow very well. So I'm going to keep placing the 1.5 on the waistline like that. I'll keep placing like that, and I'll be marking 46 inches. So what I'm trying to do is to get the length of this circular pants. So I'll keep marking like that, 46 inches. So I'll continue marking on the waistline to get exactly 46 inches length for my flare trouser. So now I've gotten the actual length right now. I'm going to take the last one, keeping the 1.5 inch band above to 46 inches of the length. So after that is done, we are done with this trouser. So the next thing we are going to do is to cut this piece from the waist to the crouch. I'm going to cut from the waist to the crouch, and then I'm going to clean up those lines, okay, because those lines will be part of the palazzo pant. So it's going to be part of the circular pant. So I'm just going to clean up that line. We don't need it anymore. So I will clean it off, as you can see right there, then cut it off. So I'm going to cut through the crouch line to that point I'm pointing, and the waistline. I'm going to cut through the waistline too. So if you want to cut the side, maybe to add a pocket or to add a zipper, you can just split that part open. Of course, you have your 1 inch seam allowance. So I will just go ahead to cut out this, and I'm cutting through the down piece. So after cutting, this is what I got after cutting. So like I said, if you want to open the side as you have in that video, you can just cut that side open. So now we are done with the cutting. So we have the two pieces right there. So the front, that part, I'm going to use it as my front piece, okay? The crouch right there, we have the center front and the center back, but because the front is usually shorter, so we are going to mark on the waistline. We are going to lift that part up. So you can choose any part to be your front, your center front, or your center back. So I choose this part to be my center front. So I'm going to come down by 1 inch on my center front, and I'm going to connect from that 1 inch on the center front to nothing on the side. I'll connect it to nothing on the side. So I just want to blend it very well with my pattern ruler. Okay, so this is my tummy drop. When making a normal trouser, you know the back is always higher. So that is just what I'm trying to achieve right there. So I'm going to cut out that 1 inch at the center front to nothing on the side of the waist. So I'll also cut out 1 inch on the crouch extension. Remember, the front trouser crouch is always shorter by 1 inch as well. So I'll just go ahead and mark 1 inch, 1 inch till the end of the length of that trouser. So I'll just go ahead and rule the 1 inch all the way down, and I'm going to cut out that 1 inch accordingly. So that will make the trouser sit very well on you, okay? The front trouser is supposed to be shorter than the back one. So that is why we are removing all this 1 inch, since we cut everything together, both the back and the front. So now we are done. The next thing we are going to do is to start stitching. So you can see the front is shorter right now by 1 inch, okay, on the crouch line, and is shorter on the waistline by 1 inch. So the next thing we are going to do is to secure the front piece. So you are going to secure the front crouch piece right now. I'll use my pin and pin it all the way through. And then we'll go over to the machine to stitch at 1/2 inch. So right now the part I'm going to chalk, that is where I'm going to stitch, and I'm stitching half an inch to the end, as you can see. Then I'm going to also leave my zipper allowance. Okay, so you can see I came above 1.5 and marked 8 inches of my zipper allowance, and from that part I'm going to mark 1 inch, 1 inch. I'll make 1 inch, and then that is my zipper space. So I'm going to leave that part open. But from this point right now, I'm going to mark 1 inch and then half an inch into the crouch line. So after marking this piece, I'm going to sew the center front. So here is the center front. I'm done stitching it. And here is the center back. I left the zipper part open. And you can see I've stitched from the zipper points into the crouch line. So now the next thing we are going to do is to sew the crouch front and the crouch back. So I'm going to put it together right now. I'll go over to the machine. I'll secure with my pin first. Make sure you open up your seams, and then we are going to stitch all the way down. So after stitching, this is what we'll have on our trouser. So right now we want to start working on the band. So we are going to fix the band before we fix our zipper. So I'm using a band width of 4 inches, and I've already folded 0.5 inch of my band. So the width is 4 inches, okay? And the length of the band is my waist circumference, okay? Plus that 1 inch I added. So you can just use your tape around your waistline to be sure of the width of your band. So right now, I'm going to place one side of that band on the trouser. I'm placing it wrong side to the right side. Then I'll overlap it and top stitch on top of it. So here you can see what I have on my band, and it's ready. So the next thing is to go ahead and sew my zipper. So I'm going to sew my zipper from top to bottom. So after sewing my zipper, this is what I got. So I will advise you use a matching zipper or an invisible zipper. It will give a very beautiful look right here. So we have gradually come to the end of this tutorial. The next is to hem the down part of this piece. Interested to learn how I made this beautiful gathered neck top? I'll be dropping the link on how I made that top on the description box below. Kindly click on the description box and learn. Thank you. Bye.